Hello again, I'm Daniela San Giorgi and I'm going to introduce to you the first assignment. This assignment, as I was saying before in the introduction to the module on Service Design for Innovation, is done in collaboration with LiveWork. The aim of this assignment called Service Design Pills is to create the research, communication, critical skills to deepen and share strategic knowledge on a specific topic. This year the topic is Designing for a Sustainable Future. This is a group work. We need 5 people, 5 students for each group. And this work will be evaluated on your ability to gather, report, and select sources, so your inquiry and use of sources, the ability to develop knowledge and understanding on the subject matter that you are investigating, the analytical and critical skills, so how you are able to analyze, interpret, and reflect on the theme that you have been choosing, and also the clarity of presentation, so how well you're able to visualize your findings, to write about your findings, and how you are able to present them. These assignments form 50% of your final mark. Okay. The topic, as I was saying, has been defined together with LiveWork. That has been working for some years now on this topic, on designing for sustainable futures. And so together with them, we shaped some key research questions. There are the ones that you should then choose and develop your own research in your group. In particular, as a group, you will have 4 weeks in order to first choose the specific question and a subtopic that you would like to study and investigate. For example, if you want to study the role of service design for new service models, maybe you want to explore the concept of circular economy, for example. And then choosing this perspective, you will start doing investigation, so you need to deepen and articulate the related key concepts from a theoretical point of view, reflect on why these concepts are relevant for a sustainable future, why should we care as service designers, and provide your opinion on why and how this new knowledge should be then integrated. So, for example, what does it mean to do service design for a circular economy, for example? This theoretical investigation should then be supported by an illustrative example of what you're proposing. Okay, so you need to find some projects, some research, or some existing solution examples that can manifest what you've been studying. This research then will be formalized in a written note and summary, which will be 1,000 words for a critical summary and 500 words for the case studies plus the references, and the presentation to the class, so 10 minutes lecture to your colleagues. So altogether this material will remain available to the class, so will be created. You will create some knowledge for all of your colleagues, and in particular the written text will be put together in a course vademecum, in a short booklet about designing for sustainable futures that we hope will be somehow an integration to your knowledge for your future service design practice. So designing for sustainable futures, of course, is a very wide topic, so we identified these 8 main questions that somehow could inform service design practice. And in particular, these are the questions that we identified. One is, what are the new frameworks service design should apply? The second is, what are the new impact measures we should use? What are the most promising service models we should design for? How can How can we design for or with social change? What does it take to orient organizations toward more sustainable futures? How can we leverage the potential of technology? How can we promote more equitable, safe, and resilient societies? And how can traditional companies learn to partner with competitors, suppliers, and governments to achieve a better outcome? So these are the main questions we would like you to explore and investigate, and I will now go one by one to explain a bit what are the premises. So the first one is what new framework service design should apply. With frameworks, I imagine a theoretical framework, a model, some principles that somehow guide our practice. So service design has inherited the shift from a user-centered perspective to the wider look and principle of a human-centered design. So we are all used to talk about that we should put people at the center of our design, but given the increasing sustainability concerns, which new frameworks or principles should we consider and embrace? So some people now talk, for example, about humanity-centered design or life-centered design or post-humanism design, critical or speculative design. Someone has been also talking about animal-computer interaction. All these debates, all these concepts somehow try to emphasize the fact that sometimes human-centered design might be at the expense of our environment. Okay, or sometimes we focus more on customers and we don't consider the collectivity and so on. So somehow this question wants to bring the attention to maybe other kind of frameworks that could inspire service design practice. The definition of human-centered design has been already a very wide definition, so somehow associated with human dignity, no? So the fact that human-centered design is an affirmation of human dignity, is about searching for what can be done to support and strengthen the dignity of human beings. But somehow, given the sustainable futures, this might sound not enough. So Leavework suggests, for example, we see sustainable futures as catering less to the individual and more to the collective. What would this mean for service design frameworks, tools, or principles? Okay, so how can what are the new perspectives? And also associated, of course, with these new frameworks, we might identify also new principles or new tools that should belong to service design if we want to take seriously, okay, the need to design for sustainability. The second question was about the metrics, the impact measures. Service design recently has been giving more attention to how to evaluate the impact of our contribution. But generally service design has been focusing on how to create more effective services for customers, for example, or how to measure the impact on organizations. While the perspectives that come from sustainability should go beyond customers, should go beyond the organizations. But then what are the metrics? What are the new metrics that we should consider? If we consider the sustainable goals, these transcend individuals and organizations. So somehow service design practitioners and researchers should look for wider impact, different impact measures and indicators to be integrated in service design practice. Leavework suggests how to combine the known service design metrics like customer happiness, service design adoption, to new types of metrics. For example, could we do a life cycle analysis calculating the footprint of a value proposition over time? If you make a search on metrics around sustainability, you can find many words, examples that are being studied, that have been studied, like sustainability performance measurement systems or well-being index, if we consider also, of course, the social dimension, or sustainable human development indicator, or sustainability key performance indicator. So this is an example of how we could start framing the second question. The third question instead is about what are the most promising service models, and this is an attempt to try to go beyond what we know about product service system design, for example, because service design has been associated with sustainability. The idea to move from product to service is somehow the idea that you reduce ownership, that you favor sharing access. But this is not enough, and sometimes is marginal in service design practice. So some keywords that could be interesting to explore are circular economy, sharing economy, natural capitalism, collaborative service models, co-creation, and so on, because they suggest the direction toward different practices, different way of consuming, using, and offering solutions to people. Also, product service systems are not necessarily just a solution to sustainability, no? Because it is now demonstrated that PSS do not necessarily lead to sustainable solution, but offer a useful and promising concept in the direction of sustainability. So work suggests, for example, what is there beyond ownership, beyond stewardship, beyond responsibility? No? What are the new frontiers? What are the new models, no? The new ideas that we should pursue, we should follow and support in our design practice. The fourth question is designing for or with social change. And sustainability is often associated not only with organizational change, but with changes in social practices and behavior. It is associated with studies on social innovation, where bottom-up movements and solutions offer alternative ways to address society challenges. And service design often deals with orienting people behavior or enhance civic engagement, for example. So this could be a space where to explore the social side of sustainability, looking, for example, into service design for behavioral change or design for social innovation, the concept of social impact, or today there is a lot of talking about design activism, or the concept of social design. What does it mean? Okay, so this is an area that has a certain complexity. Live work suggests, for example, participation, co-creation, collaboration. When does it work and when it doesn't? The collective has paradoxical needs. Social change is about resolving these paradoxes. So if we think about individuals, is one aspect. If we talk about social change, so the collective, of course, things becomes more difficult. And so they suggest, for example, as a topic, energy transition can be elitist and exclusive. How can you turn an understanding of an individual barrier to something that can change enabled collectively? Okay, so this is also a very complex and interesting topic that you might want to investigate. The fifth question is about what does it take to orient organizations towards sustainability. Service design has been debating on how to facilitate organizational change, okay, to become more customer-oriented or to adopt more human-centered innovation approaches and mindsets. But there is little interest or little discussion on how service design can favor a shift toward more sustainable business models and values, for example. So this is an area that should be further investigated, that you can study more. What does it mean business model innovation? What does it mean a sustainable business model. So while design can be at the heart of business model innovation, the value of service design in facilitating new strategic, sustainable business activities has yet to be explored. So this is an area where we would like you to spend some time. Live Work suggests thinking differently about growth and about value creation. This is what they suggest for their clients. Think less about growth of the company at the expense of the competition. More about growth of the market and the distribution of value. So this is more about the individual organization. The other topic, of course, that has some relevance is about the use of technology and digital technology, because technology are perceived both as a threat and as an opportunity for the environment society. So it is fundamental that service design engages with this paradox. And because in general we have been interested in the development of the new technologies to create better services, but we also need to understand how to integrate the needs for a green economy with the potential of the digital technology. So this is a space where there is surely a lot to explore and to find a specific perspective to go deeper. For example, Live Work suggests technology should empower people, should never be a goal in itself. This could be exploring two topics: humanizing smart, contrast between cases of technology pushed innovation and technology as innovation enabler for people, or earth technology, how to take advantage of the natural resources. The seventh topic instead is going deeper in the social side of sustainability, considering how can we design for an equitable, inclusive and safe society. This is an area where service design has already been working on, applying participatory design techniques that are associated with democracy and inclusion. Often design has been working with and for a vulnerable population, but this is still an area that has a lot of complexity. For example, there has been a topic about looking at design for service inclusion or inclusive service design. There is the wider topic of transformation design or transformative service. So somehow service design needs to engage with the challenges of designing for services that are actually accessible to all the population, not just the parts, no? Or services that guarantee equity, that level the power dynamics in society so that actually people can participate and engage in an equal manner. So this is a very, very complex topic, of course, and there are a lot of interesting considerations to be done. Live Work suggests to look, for example, at the initiative What Design Can Do. And he was questioning how do initiatives like the ones you find on What Design Can Do could scale and last. So more about how some individual initiatives aiming for addressing societal concern and issues can be actually having a real impact on society in different contexts. And the last question instead is about how can traditional companies learn to partner to achieve a better outcome. This goes beyond the individual organization. So before we saw how service design can help organization to be oriented to sustainability. This is more considering instead network of organizations, because sustainability often demands a network rather than an individual firm perspectives. Service design has been gradually expanding their focus from the single organization to systems, value networks, and should engage with conversations around sustainability in a different manner. Also, this reflection brings us to general reflections on the role of design for sustainability, which has been also scaling up. No? So product service system innovations are much more complex, and their implementation might require a stakeholder network that includes a variety of socioeconomic actors. So with these slides, the figure in particular shows how the debate on design for sustainability has moved from the product level to product service system level to spatial-social level to socio-technical system level. So there has been expansion of the focus on how organizations has been, on how the debate on sustainability has gradually growing up, because the need to transform needs to engage more actors. So LIVWORK brings attention to the concept of collaboration for a sustainable ecosystem to work. So it's not just anymore a single organization, but we need to support and favor the collaboration between networks of companies, governments, and citizens to enhance collaboration. So his question is, how can service design help to enhance these forms of collaboration? So these are the 8 questions that we are asking you to go through and explore. Now, starting from this first input that we are giving you. You should create a group today on Google Drive. We're sharing a link with you soon, and you can start creating your groups. Then you should choose one of the questions and try to propose an interpretation on how you would like to approach this question. We are asking you also to propose 2 other options, because of course we can't guarantee that everyone can, we need to cover all the questions, so we need to distribute the groups. So we ask you to choose one, but then also propose eventually other 2 ones that you might put in secondary or third choice. The deadline for this assignment is the 27th of March by 7 p.m. The presentation will be the 27th and the 31st of March, because we will have the different series of presentation that we will divide in these 2 afternoons. Okay, so I hope this presentation has given you an overall idea of what the assignment is about and the key topics that we would like to explore. So I created a forum online on Beep where you can start submitting your questions and put your comments, and hopefully we will be able to address every doubts that you might have.